Yeah.
So talk a little bit about how fatherhood changed as we got older. For you, Poppy, what that was like, and Mom, kind of like watching those changes. And then on the back end, tell us about how you think he's doing, Mom. So go from like growing up to kind of where we are today.
Well, for me, um, you know, understanding the necessity that I placed on my children having their father in the household with them, I wanted to be sure I had a unique bond with both of you that she didn't have. So obviously, she has the responsibility of carrying you in the womb for those 9 months. And so everything that you're getting from the time of conception throughout that gestation period comes from her. And so one of the things I did want to make sure I prioritized during her pregnancies was to be on my best behavior, so to speak, because I didn't want her mood or her disposition to be foul because that might impact something during the pregnancy. So I tried to be on my absolute best behavior.
Good job.
I wasn't successful 100% of the time, but it was something that I was cognizant of. So I wanted to be sure, when she needed something, I was responsive. I wanted to be sure to encourage her to eat. And so since I do the cooking, most of the cooking in the house, I wanted to be sure she was getting healthy meals. I wanted to encourage her to exercise since she already liked to exercise before she was pregnant. I wanted her to keep that up because I knew there would be benefits for you two as she carried you. So once you all came out, now I felt like I could be much more hands-on with you because obviously when you weren't born, I couldn't do that. So I wanted you all to feel my presence, to feel my person. I wanted you all to hear my voice. And so you would establish a comfort level with me as I established that same comfort level with you. And so as you all began to grow and go from crawling to walking, go from walking to running, where you now, as you got older and older, now you're starting to drive, and we'll get into that later. What I wanted to do was make sure you all, as you all changed, as you all grew, that you understood my presence was still available to you. And so I had to then adjust my own parenting because I couldn't treat you when you were 2, I couldn't treat you like you were 6 months old. When you became 5, I couldn't treat you like you were 3. Things of that sort. So as you grew, I grew as well. As you began to adjust to different stages in your lives, I adjusted to those same stages in my own parenthood. And so understanding I could not remain a static parent, but I had to be dynamic because you were changing really has helped me accept the fact that you all are not babies anymore, that you all are young adult women, and you're going to continue to grow as you mature and get older. So my focus was always recognizing where you are, but helping guide you to where you needed to be. And while doing that, making sure that you all understood my presence was still valuable to you, and your presence was valuable to me.
And I think as the girls started getting older, grammar school, and I started putting you guys in activities, um, your dad would say, just let me know where I'm supposed to be. So a lot of the activities I put you guys in, I did because I didn't know what else to put you in. And so I got you guys involved in dance because a good friend of mine told me about a dance studio. So I got you both involved. So of course, every year there was a big recital. So he would just say to me, just tell me where they need to be, when activities were, things of that nature. So that's what I would do. And so I would just make sure that he was, he knew exactly where he would show up. He would be very present. He would sometimes, in the course of you guys preparing for different things, he would ask you how you were doing. He would ask you, how's it going? Two different occasions I think that really stands out for me is when you got promoted from 6th to 7th grade after just a month and a half of school. And your dad was like, okay, if your teacher thinks you're ready, we think you're ready. And so your dad kicked right into advocacy mode. He started, we need to have a meeting so that we can get her what she needs. Even in the meeting, he ran the meeting on our behalf. I didn't have to say a word because your dad was your advocate. He's like, my daughter is exceptional. Is learning. You have recognized that. You want to promote her. Don't hold her back because the school has never done this before. So in that instance, he was an advocate. When Kiani got ready and started testing to do academic, sixth and seventh and eighth grade academic center, and we got her tested. And so when she tested, she was kind of frustrated in the testing. And so your dad was like, listen, Kiani, do the best you can. But if you do well enough to get placed, that's where you're going to go because you are intelligent, you are smart, you can learn and grasp, you need to be challenged. So he became an advocate for her in that time period. And so when it came to different momentous occasions for you guys, your dad would jump into advocacy mode, which I love because then I could take a step back and just take a breath and not feel like I'm all alone and thinking, okay, well, should we do this? Should we not do that? And when I would mention it to him, he'd be like, okay, well, look, what do you need me to do? And then sometimes he would just jump right in and start going. I think when you, Kanaya, got closer to graduating from high school, Kiani getting closer to high school, but in a high school environment, I could see where your dad was stepping up his communication level, his honesty, his openness. When you're kids, you're honest, but I used to tell them, okay, you got to be a little soft with the honesty. Because you guys weren't ready for true, blatant honesty. Your dad could be very blunt and honest. And so
He's not alone. He's not alone.
Naya does it too. Kiani is more like me. We kind of look for a way to be honest, but to gauge the person and how
yes,
the best way. Your dad's not like that. And so just trying to get him to understand as you guys were getting older, I was like, you can be honest, but you got to figure out the best way to do it. And I think now he's learned that because you and I are so much like him, he just can be just as honest as he can be with you. Kiani's more like me. So he realizes that he has to figure out the best way to be honest, even though sometimes he can miss the mark, but thank God for his effort. So Kiani will be like, okay. And so and I see him now when he has conversations with you guys, when he spends time with you both, he's trying to engage and figure out where you are. We had a really close friend tell us, tell your dad, you're making it real hard for guys in the future to date your daughters. And your dad said, I did that on purpose because I wanted my girls to know what a good man will and how he should treat you. And so your dad has been very adamant in showing you both what a good man looks like, acts like, all of the above.
And one of the things, I need to credit you for in our marriage and how you have helped me be a decent girl dad.
What's that?
One of the things that I learned early in our marriage is, my weaknesses as a husband. And so some of the deficiencies I have as a husband motivated me to be that much better of a father. One of the struggles that we had, and maybe we still have it in some degree, is communication. You didn't think I was communicating well enough with you. You didn't think I was communicating often enough with you. And so while I wanted a reset with you, obviously I couldn't get it. I transferred that energy to my parenting. And so I wanted to overemphasize good communication with my girls because I know I didn't meet the mark that you had for me in our marriage. And so when the mistakes that I've made as a husband, I tried not to make similar mistakes as a father. And so, Kiana, you talk about how you get the benefit of, our mistakes with Kanaya. Well, both of you have gotten the benefits of my mistakes with your mom. And so while there may be some times where we're not on the same page, I make sure that I double that effort with you all because I'm learning how those communication mistakes with her impacted our relationship. So I knew, okay, things I don't do with your mom, I need to do with you because I have a different level of interaction with you guys. And so I don't like there to be guesswork in communication. That's why I'm blunt. And that's why I try to say exactly what's on my mind so you don't have to figure out what I'm thinking. But I also understand, I failed in those respects a lot of times with your mom. And so while I'm still learning those things because we're equals, because I have a relationship of authority over you all, then I don't have to be as hesitant or as apprehensive in my communication with you all. Now, as she said, I had to learn how to temper those things, particularly with Kiani. But that also goes to understanding how you two are different. And what may work with one may not work with the other. And what may not work with one may work with the other. And so understanding, again, your uniquenesses and encouraging your uniquenesses and embracing them was important because, again, as the only male in this 4-person household, I have to relate to each of you 3 ladies in a different manner in order to be effective in my communication.
Now, what I will say, I look forward to seeing is how you interact with Kanaya when she gets 21 and gets on her own, and how you interact with Kiani when she goes away to school. I think that's going to be the next shift. How do you interact with an adult who she has to live her own life? And then Kiani letting her go, and at the same time dealing with being an empty nester. So having all the free time in the world because we don't have to drive one here, one there, and do all the other stuff. So I'm looking forward to that next phase.
Yeah, and part of that will, again, everything I do with Kanaya is going to be the first time.
Right.
True. And so, saying goodbye to her when she went to college was hard, as I knew it would be.
Yes.
And I was unashamed to tell everyone whom I knew, I know I'm going to cry.
You shocked me.
It's going to be a hard cry.
You shocked me too.
When I say when you started crying and the depth of your crying.
Wait, hold on. First of all, go back.
I had to start dripping. I said, wait.
First of all, go back. This man don't cry in public, okay?
At all.
So understand, we was outside on the concrete.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening?
You know, we just kind of quiet.
And you just started like crying, but you started crying hard. And me and Kiani kind of looked at each other like,
man, I'm like, buddy, snotting.
So, it blew me away. I know how much your dad loves you girls both, and protective and want the best for you. But it was like that day, it was just on his sleeve. And I was like, oh my gosh, is he going to make it? I thought I was supposed to be the one over here, oh man.
So it was kind of the reverse of when I took you to school for the first time and how you didn't want to let me go and you threw this big tantrum. The only thing missing on my part was a tantrum. Yes. But I'm certain when Kiani leaves, I'm going to cry then as well because, Kanai, you obviously changed my life because I never had a kid before. And so the impact you've had is undeniable and irreplaceable. And Kiani, you've changed my life in a different way because you've made me a different kind of parent than I am with Kanaya. And so, yes, I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss seeing you every day. I'm going to miss having beef with you every day. Those are interactions that right now I'm soaking in as much as I can because I know in a couple of years I won't have them every day. And then when I get to see you come home for holidays, then we'll have a different level of interaction. So one of the things, and again, my upbringing, my dad didn't live with me. My dad didn't live with my sisters. And so, I wanted to enjoy fatherhood as much as I possibly can. I want to squeeze as much of its life as I can possibly squeeze. And so I'm enjoying these years because I know they won't last forever. And so whatever I can do, and listen, I don't have riches untold and wealth untold to give to you. But I can give you myself. And that's what I think any father ought to do. And so, when we have those times when we're laughing at each other, not with each other, but at each other, or we're laughing, two of us are laughing at the one other, or when the three of us are laughing at your mother, or even when the three of you are ganging up on me, that's what family is. Mm-hmm. And so for us to have the privilege of creating you and nurturing you, and again, I've said all the time, I take care of kids, but I raise adults. I don't raise children. I want you all to become those full-fledged adults who are going to take the world by the horn and just do extraordinary things. And so for me, it's been that kind of ride. And that's why I pour so much of myself into being your fathers, because God has given me that privilege.
I would have to say, when they were younger, I felt like I needed to help you give to my girls what I didn't have. Mm-hmm. I grew up in a household, my dad was there, but my interaction with my dad was just pretty much father-daughter, ins and outs. We have family events, things like that. But I wanted to make sure that my girls' interaction with their dad was even richer. And so,
give an example.
So like growing up for me, the holidays, they were okay. It was just us. It was just me, my dad, my mom. We might have opened gifts, but once I got married with your dad, and then we had you guys, Christmas became such bigger. And then like he would play games with you guys, he would be present with you guys and just interacting with you guys. And I felt like that was great because it was more than our holidays just weren't that big of a deal for me. It just wasn't. And so, but for you guys, it was being made to be and birthdays too. For birthdays, I never had I had one birthday party when I turned 6. That was it. Whereas when your dad's and then his upbringing, they celebrated birthdays every year. And so he was very much so involved in when we did birthday parties for you guys. Your dad was involved. He would tell me to figure out where. But then once I told him where, when, and time, he was the one was there helping me set up, pick up, taking care of you guys, going around. If we were at Hollywood Park, he was going around doing games with you guys. I didn't have to do that part. He was playing the games with you guys. So he made sure to be engaged. And so after a while, I realized I don't have to help him do that because he wanted to do that so hard in his heart that he made an effort at all times to be engaged with you guys. So I didn't have to do that with him. Even now, you guys have conversations with him that I find out after the fact. I'm like, well, tell me, but thank God for that. We know both of you girls know if something happened, you call your dad. He's good. Because what people don't realize, most people that know Marcel, he's very calm, he's cool, and he doesn't get upset about much of anything. He may give you a few words and you got to figure out what they mean. But whereas me, I'm going off from the jump about my kids. No, you don't play. And so what people don't know is if any harm is done to you two, he's gonna probably leave before me getting to the fact of hurting somebody, because he does not play when it comes to you girls. And so a lot of people don't get that. Like, oh, he probably would never get upset or angry. Oh, yes, he will. Yes, he will. Mess with Yanni or mess with Kanaya, it's a different conversation. And so I hope you both know that your dad will move heaven and earth for both of you, especially when it comes to your safety and your well-being. Especially.
All right. Well, to round out the episode, Kiani and I are going to give something about each of you that we appreciate being our parents, and then you guys can give one of your proudest moments of each of us. And so,
yeah, I can start.
Okay.
Like you kind of mentioned, Poppy, what makes a good parent is the kids, but I just really want to commend you all. I mean, you all are stellar parents. The way you support us and the way you pour into us is just beyond measure. And like you really can't put words to it. I mean, me and Kanaya do different things, but everything we wanted to try and do, you all are always supportive of it. It may not sound like the best thing or the best idea, but you guys are very supportive of it. Like I don't remember a performance where both of our parents weren't in the audience and weren't there. So you all are just always right behind us. And like as a family, we're all very interconnected. And I will say that it starts from you guys, how we see you love on each other, and how we see you pour into your marriage and pour into the love you have for each other and for us. Naya.
I would say, I mean, of course, y'all know I don't live in the house anymore, so things mean different things now. I would say for mom, just being a stellar example of womanhood for me, that I can learn from what to do and maybe what not to do if you share things that you're like, yeah, that really didn't work for me. Um, being a woman of God for sure, you know, being multifaceted because she is the engine to this home, y'all. Like we all go because she know where we all supposed to be, who need a gift for somebody's birthday, wedding, baby shower, whatever's going on. So just learning how to, you know, juggle so many different balls at the same time, that definitely came from you. And she get down to the business, y'all. So things get done effectively. Okay, over here. Thank you. I would say for my dad, uh, always, you know, making home for me. You know, living away from my family now, it strengthens me to know that with any failure, I always have a home that will receive me, and I think that is the most important thing for me right now. Yeah.
So proudest moments. Oh gosh, I have so many for you girls. For Kanaya, when you got promoted from sixth to seventh grade, your eighth grade graduation speech, I was so proud. Um, and just when you got accepted into FAMU and your excitement was just unbelievable. And so I was very, very proud of you because you knew what you wanted and you pursued it. And I was so excited for you. And when you got accepted and decided to go 800 miles away and take that adventure, I don't think I would have been able to do that, but you did. And I applaud you for taking that step and doing something that none of us had ever done before, and that's to go that far away from school. Kiani, I was so proud of her. She may not realize this, but when she tested for the seventh and eighth grade program, her first choice she didn't get into, and so she was kind of disappointed. But I just loved how she rallied and just shifted her thought pattern and shifted her mindset, and just started going at it and saying, I'm gonna have a great time. I'm just gonna go in and see what I can do. And I applaud her for that. She shifted herself, and then she got there and started pursuing her love for acting and the part she got. um Both performances, even if it was a small performance, but when she got one of the leads, I was very proud of her. I mean, there were times during the whole performance I couldn't believe it was her. I was like, oh my gosh, she is just doing phenomenal. And so those are just a few of the proudest moments I've had as a parent for both of you guys.
I can't narrow down and pick one proud moment for both of you, because there are just way too many. But I will give a moment that I believe is either is a microcosm or a good picture of the pride and the joy and the delight that I have in the two of you, and it involved the two of you doing something together. So when we went to Punta Cana a couple of years ago, and you all wanted to get on the what was it called, the
parasailing.
parasailing, yes.
Oh, wow.
that was a moment
Yeah.
that I think encapsulates our relationship, because it was something I don't know if I suggested you all do it or you all suggested to me that you wanted to do it. Right. And so I said, go for it. But as I watched the two of you hovering in the air,
Yes.
I said
Oh,
that's something I probably would not have done at that age.
I would not do.
Secondly, I was powerless. Had something happened because I was on the shore and you guys were well over into the water. And thirdly, I admired, your willingness to do what we've encouraged you to do, and that's take calculated risks. And just to watch you two in the air, I'm like, wow, that's neat. And you has done that throughout your lifetimes where you've identified something you wanted to do, or the flip side is your mother and I have identified something we believe you can do, and 99 times out of 100 you've tried.
Right.
And the only thing I've ever asked of you is to try. If you don't try, then you will never know if you can do it, and you won't learn anything about yourself. But if you try and you don't get what you want, at least you'll have a point of reference you can use to help you in something else. And so, yeah, when you all did the parasailing, it was something that just brought a shot of joy to my own heart, because I'm looking at you all excelling as you are ascending. And again, that was just a picture of what I believe you all can do in the years to come.
This was incredible. I mean, we got some 5-star parents.
For sure.
So to wrap up the conversation, we want to just say, first off, thanks you to Mom for kind of stopping by and talking to us, and thanks for having a wonderful conversation, of course. And Poppy, of course, rocked the conversation. You all did amazing. So we're gonna close out the episode. We thank everyone so much for tuning in. Make sure you all tune back in as we drop more episodes of Girl Dadding. And that's it.
Bye.
Bye.